This would be a good time to take a break and tour the factory where they manufacture this vinyl flooring, down in Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania. We'll get together with Jim Kogut. So, Jim, what's the first step in making or manufacturing vinyl flooring?
Well, the first step starts with our white shield backing or carrier felt, Bob.
This stuff here, is it a paper?
Close to a paper, a little stronger, made of wood pulp, polyester, and latex.
Then what happens?
Well, Bob, each roll of felt is then unwound and travels through a series of rollers to a coating station.
And what's the coating that's going on there?
Well, the coating is basically a vinyl coating, which we call a gel.
So that's the first step. That's the first thing you lay down.
That's correct. It's in a liquid state. It then travels through a hot air oven.
Yeah.
It transforms from a liquid state to a solid state, is then cooled and rewound. At that point, we're ready for the next stage of our process, which is the actual printing of the design.
So you rewind it and move that roll to another location.
That's correct.
Let's go see that.
Fine.
So, Jim, what does one of these rolls weigh?
8,000 to 10,000 pounds, Bob.
That's a lot of tonnage.
A lot of weight.
And
utilizing cranes, air carts, moving them onto our unwind mechanism.
Yeah. And then what happens over here? This is the next step in the process,
This is the next step of the process, adding the actual printing color to the gel felt that we saw earlier.
Okay, and what's this doing here?
Okay, this accumulator is a reserve of slack, Bob, used to keep the production line running so that we don't stop when we change from one roll to another.
I hear you. You never have to stop the process, but you can refeed it.
That's correct.
And then what's the next step?
The next step is the actual printing area. As we enter the press room, Bob, you're looking at the largest rotogravure press of its type in the world.
It's a rotary engraving setup.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Currently, we're printing a sheet that's 12 foot wide. We have the capacity of printing up to 16 feet wide.
So are these pretty heavy rollers?
Very heavy rollers, Bob, about 8,000 pounds.
And what do you got in there? Is it an ink or a paint or what?
Well, actually, as of a year ago, we, the company, took steps to eliminate our solvent inks and completely develop a water-based ink system.
Water-based?
Yes. Totally eliminates harmful vapors into the atmosphere.
You don't have to worry about pollution anymore?
No, not at all.
Marvelous. So how many of these rollers go into the process of putting a pattern on?
This is a 6-station press. This particular pattern, we're only going to utilize 5 of the 6 stations.
Oh, I see.
Okay, as we enter this one station, we're printing on what will become an overall texture on the pattern, Bob.
Okay. So what looks like kind of a crazed texture, you don't quite see in it yet.
No, not yet. We'll see it at the next stage.
Okay.
Now in the next station, things sort of come together now. We're printing a blue flower, which will become part of the design. And as you can see, there's the blue flower and the small vine.
You can't do it all at once, huh?
No.
Oh, all right. Now you got a grid going in.
Okay. Now we're printing the grout line.
Yeah. The question is, how does it work? I mean, it's not like a paint roller, is it?
No. The cylinder is rotating in a pan of ink. Where you see the design of the grout line are actually very tiny little holes engraved into the steel cylinder, Bob.
That hold the ink.
That's correct. And as it travels back around, the excess is removed.
There's a blade back there.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the only thing that's left is the ink that's actually going to be printed.
Just the right amount.
That's right.
Okay.
And we got the grout line.
So now you got the grout line and you got the little blue flower. What else is left?
Well, now we have to put somewhat of a design or a background into the tile. And that's where this particular cylinder comes in.
Yeah.
The tile area right
What you're creating here is kind of like a shadow effect or a texture.
Yes.
All right. Then what's the next step?
Next step is where we apply the wear layer.
And when you put the wear layer on,
this would be the final product.
you end up with that nice shiny finish.
And all the texture, everything that goes with it.
Let's take a look at it. Jim, what's going on over here?
Well, Bob, what you're seeing unwinding now is the roll that was printed just last night.
It's a different pattern, huh?
Different pattern.
Yeah.
And we're now on a different process. This is called the fusion process. And what we've just done was load up the printed rolls, unwinding them, sending them to the wear layer process.
Okay. What do you call this big rack behind you?
Well, this big rack is an unwind turret. As you see, a roll currently unrolling, a roll backed up behind it, in order that at the end of this roll can then be spliced to the beginning of the back roll.
Okay.
And the process doesn't stop.
So this is the actual wear layer, huh?
This is the wear layer coating, Bob. This is the actual surface in which we walk on.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, it's a vinyl, Bob.
Which is a petroleum derivative, right?
Right.
And then it's being applied by the rollers onto...
Well, we have an applicator roller and a roller which presses the printed material up against the applicator, and the material flows onto the sheet.
And then where's it going from here?
Well, now it's going into a hot air oven at approximately 425 degrees, and it'll cure for about 2 minutes.
So, Jim, once it's come out of the oven, it's dried, what else has happened to it?
Well, not only has it been dried, it's been cured. All the layers have been fused together, which result in the texture and the shiny, durable surface, Bob.
So that's what makes it look like it's really three-dimensional.
Yes. And in addition to the wear layer coating, we've applied an additional urethane scuff tough finish to this floor.
It keeps the...
Well, when you and I walk on it with our sneakers and shoes, we won't leave any marks on the floor.
What about quality control?
Well, this is a very important quality control area where trained inspectors examine every single yard of flooring that comes by them and mark every defect or imperfection that may come through the process. And that is put into a computer and develops into a cut map.
Terrific. Jim, I think we've all got a pretty good understanding of how you make
Good.
vinyl flooring. Thanks for the tour.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll be right back after this message.